Shane Hollands lurking over there. To kick off, we're going to have Gary Barr come up and give us a few words, being the producer, editor. Miriam, can we welcome you to the stage, please?
This is so awesome. I've known Shane for a dozen years, and many mic squeaks and solvings of feedback on stage, and we've all been basically bugging him to make a book for that entire time, and he refuses to submit, which is what he likes to say all the time. So I'm actually really proud that he managed to convince me to reawaken this old press that we'd made to publish people's poems who maybe were not usually being published. So it seems really kind of apt that Shane's chosen to use his book to try and wake that little project up, and I think Dan's going to come and tell you a little bit more about that in a little while. So thank you, Shane, for choosing Backshed Press. And thank you to all of you guys for coming and showing Shane your support tonight and kind of celebrating with him, because he always celebrates with us. It seems apt that at his book launch, when he should be the person standing up here taking all of the limelight. So a whole bunch of people were involved in cajoling Shane along, and one of the first people to do that was his brother Michael Arnold, who helped him go through all of his work and kind of select the very best. He wrote this amazing foreword for Shane's book, and I think that it's special that someone from our literary institutions of New Zealand would show their support for Shane's work, because Shane would often consider himself the antithesis of the literary institution, so that's perfect. And I'll read a little bit from his foreword for us. Thanks so much to Sophie Fraser, who typeset the entire book, because I think it's right that the night should begin with a poem from Shane, even though the rest of us will be kicking things off. So this is called A Celebration, and I guess it's kind of apt for the political situation at the moment too. Do you remember the end of the millennium? How we all united in the joyous bliss of the moment, holding our breath, counting 3, 2, 1, because for the first time it seemed with the fall of the wall and the Cold War that we now had a chance. Everyone and everywhere felt it. With elation we jumped into the air and drank champagne, laughing at the millennium bug. What fools we were, throwing away money and caution, because the world that was bogged down in last century's hatred, the dying dinosaurs, and a millennium's worth of insane war, of starvation, of downpression, would certainly surrender to the new dawn of freedom. With effervescent glee, we celebrated from Aotearoa to Moscow, in bars in Bali and in the towers of New York City. We celebrated on buses in London, triumphant, beautiful Paris, on Spanish trains, in Afghanistan and Israel. They strapped to their breasts the hopes and ambitions of their nation. In Ireland, in Africa, in India, in China, in Iraq, and reborn Europe. Do you remember when we looked at the news and the tears on our cheeks were from laughter? So my last duty is to officially launch the book, and I thought that the best way to do that was if we all just raised our glasses and said a thanks to Shane Hollands and the atomic composition of the seeming solid. Here's to you, Shane.
The manuscript before it came to be, and given her comments on things such as the poem order and such like, so she participated also. And also on the back of the book, if you look, there's Backshed Press, which was initiated by Miriam a decade or more ago. And Backshed Press has before published Tangents and Observations from the Poetry Factory. Those are the two existing titles in the catalogue, which were both Miriam Barr's pre-publishing house stuff. Anyway, so when Shane talked about putting his new book together, we talked about using the Back Shed logo. And in roughly 3 months from now, I'll be publishing my own book under the Back Shed logo. And 3 months after that, hopefully Elizabeth Wilson, who hasn't been published in the Auckland poetry scene since the 1970s or 80s, will finally put together also a poetry book. And 3 months after that, who knows if we can get more on. And so, yeah, come along in 3 months to the next one. Also support Shane and Simone's tour, which is relevant to this book also. Anyway, that's about the gist of that, and I'll move on to the next person now. Which is Miriam.
Moonface tells me there's no point glowing if you can't be seen, but I don't believe her. Lunar Woman is spitting bruises into her moonbeam camouflage suit. Shadow me up before the clouds go passing, she says. I'll blend way into the storm of our seas. I wake up asleep, and in the dream I go swimming, and I can't get wet. You were there, Scarecrow Patch, Tin Man, Lion, and we are swimming, and we can't get wet. In the other dream, you speak, and I speak, and our mouths move, but the sound glitches out. I have forgotten your name, and I call you Samson. We take elephants to drink at the river's edge with us, and can talk only of the heat. We do not mention the rocks, or the rapids, or the places we carry them in. I want to say, Samson, your wife stole all your hair, yet look what she gave up of herself to fit in that room beside you. But my mouth moves, and only weather comes out.
Wow. Hello. Now, Shane asked me to do the MC thing here tonight, and I had a look at the title of the book, and I thought to myself, my God, was that ever a mouthful to be speaking in public? So I started about 10 years ago working on how to actually say this, and finally I got to be able to say this very, very carefully, the atomic composition of a seeming solid. Now I can say the atomic composition of a seeming solid. Anyway, so Murray Haddo.
Shane, he's got me out of retirement again. I retired from poetry quite some time ago. In fact, when I first met Shane, I was splitting up, and I said I didn't really want to do anymore, but all his, as we all know, he's very encouraging. He encouraged me to carry on the last 10 years or more, and a lot of things I would never have done if I hadn't met him. I certainly wouldn't have ever travelled, and one of the poems about Here Come the Reprobates has got lines about wearing worn out stolen brogues. It was actually, that was from Dunedin when 2 days to go before we even got back to Auckland, he was down to, I think, just $1.80 in his pockets, and his feet were coming through his, through his shoes. There was just nothing much left of them. He's always been terminally poor. And so we went to the op shops just to have a look, not to spend anything. I had nothing to spend. And he spotted a beautiful pair of Doc Martens there, and he fell in love with them. I said, look, nobody's looking, just trade them in for yours and walk out. And he still had his $1.80 when he got back to Auckland. But yeah, I don't know how we got down. I wasn't even intending to go. I'd never flown. I didn't want to fly. I didn't want to go travelling. I hate travelling. So we went to Dunedin. He got me down there, and Well, it wasn't really, not really the flying. I'm not scared about flying. It was just crashing. That's fucking dangerous. Anyway, up the poem. What I do tonight is Here Come the Reprobates. And it's got all the sort of things of the poet lifestyle. And it goes like this. The literary oligarchy gather at the library on Law Street for a poetry history book release. All seems sweet at the meet and greet till the arrival of the two lovable, love-to-hate brats. One a lizard, one a cat. From out of the road of perdition predestinate comes a hum of opprobrium wafting up the escalator. Two poet bums, one like Jim, one like Tom Waits. The worn-out, second-hand, stolen brogues. They're never late for a free lunch, a book launch or an art exhibition. No, beg your pardon, straight to the cheese and grapes. Two red wines, two at a time, circle around and back in line to refill and fill their paunches. Oh God, says Penny Somervale to Ida Selwyn, staunch pulling, no puncher she quips. I see they've let in the reprobates, Murray Haddo and Shane Hollands. But they're not all bad, because they're always quick with a poem. And here they come, here come the reprobates. Before I go, well, Shane had one request tonight before I go, just a short thing. He said, what I do, he really likes the Peter Cook and Dudley Moore sketch, The Horse Race, so I'll just briefly do that. Now it goes like this. Dudley starts. Good afternoon and welcome to racing at Newmarket. About to go to the stalls for 3:30, so over to you, Peter. Yes, thank you, yes, these 7 runners here for the first Durex handicap run over 6 furlongs are beginning to load up. Just coming to our picture, that's the Puff, very much on his toes and beautifully turned out. He really did look a picture in the paddock. Beautiful horse, this. Going in now as Vagina with 2 fillies in the race. She has very good opening speed, opening and won't help, but she likes a bit soft underfoot. Going now as the Wanker. Steady performer, the Wanker, although he does tend to be a bit one-paced. And going in now as Buttocks. Buttocks, a big colt. Blinkered for the first time, and here's our favourite, the Prick. Well, I think he would have preferred slightly firmer going. And going in now is the outside of the field, the 7-year-old Arsehole. Arsehole, by shit out of Bumhole, is being tailed off in his last 3 outings. Are rather disappointing horses. And last to go in is Big Tits, and she's carrying the top weight. Excellent performance, Big Tits, but I think a 10-pound penalty could be a little bit too much for her this afternoon. She's safely in, and oh dear, the Prick is rearing up. Yes, the Prick is rearing up. He tends to get excited. They're going to put the hood on here, the handlers. They're very good here, the handlers in Newmarket. And now, don't be a late show, Ben? That's right, Peter, yes. The Prick is hard enough, point to 11-8, Vagina 3, Put and Buttocks by 5 weeks late. Money for Big Tits, come join the Wanker on 8-1, and Arsehole 66-1. Yes, as expected, Arsehole, the 66-1 complete outsider. And now they're all in. They're under starters' orders, and they're off. Big Tits got a fire with first to show. Arsehole is slightly away. They sit down as Big Tits from Vagina with a Prick close up third. Then comes the Blinkered Buttocks being pressed by the Puff, going through behind these five. This is the Wanker, trailing the field is Arsehole. And as they start to climb the hill, it's Vagina who shows just clear of Buttocks with Prick close up third. Nothing between these three. Big Tits is heading slightly to the left, tucked in behind is the Puff. Still trailing the field is Arsehole. And there is the Puff again, making a challenge with Arsehole under pressure but finding nothing. As they race the line, is Vagina being pressed by the Prick to the Puff, making rapid progress, trying to straight between Buttocks in the round. The Prick and Vagina suddenly draw there. And the Wanker trying to late run. The Wanker trying to late run. Behind the gap there, Big Tits will drop down. Prick and Vagina drawing there. Prick and Vagina strike for strike. Let the line, it must be a photo. I can't separate them, but I think the Puff takes third from the Wanker and still to finish as the tiring Arsehole. Well, one hell of a race. I think the Prick might have got up there in the last strides, but you know, I really wouldn't like to put my money on it. And now it's Topless Darts from Roehampton.
Good on you, mate. God is not gushy. You won't catch him expelling a lot of heavenly glass on pleasantries nor idle confabulations. Nor does he go in for a hell of a lot of preacher fun either. Gone is a hard sell of the old days, the old fire and brimstone pitch. These days God deals in a specialised commodity. People now are less inclined to part with their precious creature comforts and earthly pleasures of a promise of a celestial kingdom after death. God's clientele is small and select. The devil's got a shovel. He no longer is that impulsive, bowelless being of the Testament, that vehement glory monger with his bag of cheap carny tricks in his booming voice. Nowadays, God knows what he wants, and he knows who he wants, and if His Majesty he seen fit to select you, Shane Holmes, as his greatest plan, you must be ready to receive, comprehend, and act upon his instructions without question or debate. Hallelujah! Get down on your knees. Fisting for Jesus, fisting for the Lord, fisting for Jesus, got my knuckles up my gourd, fisting for Jesus, I'm doing all I can, fisting for Jesus, 'cause I'm a born again crispy man. Well, Lord, they're gonna appear to me. He was just tonight. He said, "Oh my infant dog, that's what. I'm so glad that you're here tonight. That's what. But if you really, 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 really love me, and you wanna show that love, then stick your fist right at my ass, but make sure you be wearing a glove and you be fisting for Jesus. Fisting for the Lord. Come on now. Fisting for Jesus. Got my knuckles up my gourd. This is a song I wrote it a while ago, a few years ago, but anyway. Oh, summer blood, on a rolling bus, and when I pulled out into that freeway, and all the king's horses, and all the diplomats' courses, couldn't put the corpses back together, back
I picked out a couple of poems that haven't had a lot of airing or hearings. I'm reading them out of these little books that I made some time ago. And I'm going to have a play with them. And just by way of introduction, this first one I'm going to do, which many people will not have heard. It's about 3 stages of life. Lines and sheets across a page of stars retreats, and knowing now you sleep, moonbeams illuminate discursive dreams. Our white-haired lady of the mountain is laughing Luna, secured by her senses to the earth. She's a great grand dame. Pulling on her jeans, checks her mirror forecast, toying on her watch, but levitating, reading and drinking tea reflectively from her ivory and spotlight. She meters the most expansive canvas into miniature, and here she plays a game. Run this way, daughter, child with child, and find your escapee. You cannot keep her close, nor should you, for the girl is free. But stand beside me, my own wild one, and now you see, when she visits you, then could you learn what you can be. The bemused she protects, the muse is at her helm. The amazed she deflects, the mazes are her realm. In ancient lace the wisdoms show light through stratospheric clouds. Perpetual rock can be relied upon to catch a frail body. With this universal truth in solace slowly comes. The lost she simply whispers to in grass and floating leaf, and drops from shifty banks and mud. The dark speaks to explorers, sounds job pilgrims back to paths. The more still to chart the land, the less race lost to tread invention. We can hold the darkness in a cup. We can cup the last of moonlight in our hands, never quite gone. A sliver of longing for the silver light, then condenses daytime with the night. And in slow settling we find her wedding morning dew, embedded in a vast lithography. Pockets of shifting shadows cast hold benchmarks of these old moon things, these measures, ladies' clockwork trinkets that hold treasures in their keys. I love you. And I've known Shane for such a long time, and often Shane has said this to me. He said, you kept me going. And you know full well you kept me going as well. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Genevieve McLean. Yes. Now we have a lovely lady from South Auckland, Honey Strickland. Let's come up to stage, please. Big hand for Woo!
Go girl.
Kia ora, my name is Strickland. In the name of whānau and aroha, I wrote this one for my cousin, and I'll dedicate it to the whānau, aka the house.
Kia ora.
Wait, I'm going to close that door.
Okay, close that door. Because it's too loud. I'll just wait for Shane to get back. For Georgia, on the 13th day of the 5th month, I was 2 months your senior and tenfold your deluded superior. Why are you so different? G for genetics, from every continent and street, inheriting features from every corner. Never have I seen brown coconut eyes rock the house against the pure white canvas that is your face. With just the sweetest touch of sun freckling your cheeks, sitting below your dark copper hair, the unification of Rarotonga and Scotland on one. Vainema now, but still it's so different, your G. Representing both but never really belonging to either. Living in the South but never really being a Southsider. Fragile is all I used to see in you. Bruise, bleed so easily. So please be gentle when you handle me. But see, this is the South, and fragile is something you cannot afford to be. G is for glass, bones, and games that we played that weren't actually all that fun. Do you remember when we were kids and came over to play Clubhouse and you started to sing? Your off-key, jumbled up, drunk Chinese lyrics, girl. Tell me what you want, what you really want. Stuck in your own little world of ballerinas and Spice Girls, I'm worried for you, G. This guarded galaxy of your own state of sanity that others, including myself, wanted to colonize and terrorize for my own superiority. Do you remember when we were kids and you don't want to see me anymore? For saying that you fell when really I pushed you, for kicking you out the club when you started to sing, because of all the people who took shots at your difference, I was one of the worst. I don't blame you. 2 months, 1 decile, 10 minutes on foot away from each other, and yet I won't see you for the next 6 years. We're both teenagers now, and the Saturday's your sweet 16. And the overwhelming thoughts and questions of what will go down is making me drink just a little bit more. Gee, for Gatorade, because I was 16 and we abide by the law. Not really sure what to expect, but in all honesty, not that much. Yet as I roll up, I realize that even though we're blood family, your extended family extends forward and out to the side, inviting people from all walks of life to come and celebrate yours. People who protect your glass bones and love your la-la land of randomness. Who would have thought that your sweet fragility is exactly what the South Side needed? G for game changer instead of the player. And also for giving me a good slap in the face, asking dumb questions like, why are you so different? G for my girl, with the red hair and the brown eyes and the big fat heart that extends forward and out to the sides, and also G for genuine apologies that are well overdue. It's now 5 years since then, and we're both 21. Enough looking back now, let's look forward to Saturday night. We're both 21, we're now finally like this, and we abide by the law, so let's get drunk. Thank you, that was for Georgia. I got one more short piece that I wrote when I was super obsessed with puberty. It's also dedicated to my shallow vanity, both of which are related in the most inconvenient way, like siblings. Not twins, siblings. Like my eyebrows. Alright. If it ain't the pimples on my chin, then it's the one under my nose.
If it ain't any of those, then it's the bites on my leg. And if they ain't on my legs and they attack my back, then the place where I slept last night needs to be euthanized. And if it ain't the pimples or the bites, then it is gravity, taking hold of my cheeks, and my cheeks having to grab both in each hand and steal them back from that bitch named gravity before I hit the ground running and never return. My hands spend more time on my face and on my waist than they do on the page. My eyes spend more moments objectifying what's in the mirror, handpicked by God from a gene pool of travelers, eyes from the islands, nose from Ireland, and somewhere in that pool someone saw China. It's not reflected in me, but it is in my sister, it is in my blood, and it is in my heart. But my heart is too busy convincing herself to love her own reflection. Peace.
I'm not really that much into poetry, you might say, but it has always been a privilege to listen to Shane Hollands. Yes. He has inspired me so many times. He has encouraged me in my own music, and I have an abundant amount of gratitude for him. Thank you, Shane. I love you too, bro. Now next up, the lovely, the beautiful, Caitlin Smith.
Spring runs cold. Spring runs cold. Freshly pressed into the early hours and air, born skipping, flush, singing their way into stature. Come the new blue and stamping. Intake a breath, a budding snow of flowers appears and spear molded in the kernel, lithe and ardent, compelling child, potent child, forged to full through stratagem into demeanor from heaven, and sipping from this slipstream to coin a phrase and live. The dream spins or at happenstance, odd or even, new currency, this moon dance, this news speak, fine imprint of youthful beauty and young aspiring posture, by chance is melody in accordance. Here's why: the spheres celestial song, tipping to sky rise, turning a cheek, blushes at the wilderness and hums harmonics. Patient mother moon, encompassing boat-filled oceans, big mama moon songs resound in the winds of immense sea basins. Good night, moon, the lucky prayer of the seafaring, hull bearing down on wake, a companionship, a forever nearing, rolling moon, haze around the moon, a mystery moon, a far distant sound soon. Amorous moon, late moon, the warming afternoon moon, who tailors laboriously the riot of the strident silent moon. Huge aching swollen river moon, clashing give way moon, bell ringing behead Across a page of stars retreats, and knowing now you sleep, moonbeams illuminate discursive dreams. Our white-haired lady of the mountain is laughing Luna, secured by her senses to the earth. She's a great grand dame. Pulling on her jeans, checks her mirror forecasts, toying on her watch, but levitating, reading and drinking tea reflectively from her ivory and spotlight. She meters the most expansive canvas into miniature, and here she plays a game. Run this way, daughter, child with child, and find your escapee. You cannot keep her close, nor should you, for the girl is free. But stand beside me, my own wild one, and now you see, when she visits you, then could you learn what you can be. The bemused she protects, the muses at her helm. The amazed she deflects, the mazes are her realm. In ancient lace the wisdoms show like through stratospheric clouds. Perpetual rock can be relied upon to catch a frail body. With this universal true thing, soulless slowly comes the lost she simply whispers to. In grass and floating leaf and drops from shifty banks and mud, the dark speaks to explorers. Sounds job pilgrims back to paths. The more still to chart the land, the less race lost to tread invention. We can hold the darkness in a cup. We can cup the last of moonlight in our hands, never quite gone. A sliver of longing for the silver light, then condenses daytime with the night. And in slow settling we find her wedded morning dew, embedded in a vast lithography. Pockets of shifting shadows cast hold benchmarks of these old moon things, these measures, ladies' clockwork trinkets that hold treasures in their keys. There he is there. Shane. I love you. And I've known Shane for such a long time, and often Shane has said this to me. He said, you kept me going. And you know full well you kept me going as well. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Genevieve McLean. Yes. Now we have a lovely lady from South Auckland, Holly Strickland. Let's come up to stage, please. Hey,
Go girl.
Kia ora, my name is Hollands Strickland. In the name of whānau and aroha, I wrote this one for my cousin, and I'll dedicate it to the whānau, aka the house.
Wait, I'm going to close that door.
Okay, close that door. Smoke is a tune. I'll just wait for Shane to get back. For Georgia, on the 13th day of the 5th month, I was 2 months your senior and tenfold your deluded superior. Why are you so different? G for genetics, from every continent and street, inheriting features from every corner. Never have I seen brown coconut eyes rock the house against the pure white canvas that is your face. With just the sweetest touch of sun freckling your cheeks, sitting below your dark copper hair, the unification of Rarotonga and Scotland on one. Vaine now, but still it's so different, your G. Representing both but never really belonging to either. Living in the south but never really being a south-sider. Fragile is all I used to see in you. Bruise, bleed so easily. So please be gentle when you handle me. But see, this is the south. And fragile is something you cannot afford to be. G is for glass, bones, and games that we played that weren't actually all that fun. Do you remember when we were kids and came over to play Clubhouse and you started to sing your off-key, jumbled up, drunk Chinese lyrics, girl? Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Stuck in your own little world of ballerinas and Spice Girls, I'm worried for you, G. There's a guarded galaxy of your own state of sanity that others, including myself, want to colonize and terrorize for my own superiority. Do you remember when we were kids and you don't want to see me anymore? For saying that you fell when really I pushed you? For kicking you out the club when you started to sing? Because of all the people who took shots at your difference, I was one of the worst. I don't blame you. 2 months, 1 missile, 10 minutes on foot away from each other, and yet I won't see you for the next 6 years. We're both teenagers now, and the Saturday's your sweet 16. And the overwhelming thoughts and questions of what will go down is making me drink just a little bit more. Gee, for Gatorade, because I was 16 and we abide by the law. Not really sure what to expect, but in all honesty, not that much. Yet as I roll up, I realize that even though we're blood family, your extended family extends forward and out to the side, inviting people from all walks of life to come and celebrate yours. People who protect your glass bones and love your la-la land of randomness. Who would have thought that your sweet fragility is exactly what the South Side needed? Gee, for game changer instead of the player. And also for giving me a good slap in the face, asking dumb questions like, why are you so different? G for my girl, with the red hair and the brown eyes and the big fat heart that extends forward and out to the sides, and also G for genuine apologies that are well overdue. It's now 5 years since then, and we're both 21. Enough looking back now, let's look forward to Saturday night. We're both 21, we're now finally like this, and we abide by the law, so let's get drunk. Thank you, Hollands Book Launch.
Wow.
One more short piece that I wrote when I was super obsessed with puberty. It's also dedicated to my shallow vanity, both of which are related in the most inconvenient way, like siblings. Not twins, siblings. Like my eyebrows. Alright. If it ain't the pimples on my chin, then it's the one under my nose. If it ain't any of those, then it's the bites on my leg. And if they ain't on my legs and they attacked my back, then the place where I slept last night needs to be euthanized. And if it ain't the pimples or the bites, then it is gravity, taking hold of my cheeks, and my cheeks having to grab both in each hand and steal them back from that bitch named gravity before I hit the ground running and never return. My hands spend more time on my face and on my waist than they do on the page. My eyes spend more moments objectifying what's in the mirror, handpicked by God from a gene pool of travelers, eyes from the islands, nose from Ireland, and somewhere in that pool someone saw China. It's not reflected in me, but it is in my sister, it is in my blood, and it is in my heart. But my heart is too busy convincing herself to love her own reflection. Peace.
Woo! Yeah.
Reading this book so far. I'm not really that much into poetry, you might say, but it has always been a privilege to listen to Shane Hollands. He has inspired me so many times. He has encouraged me in my own music, and I have an abundant amount of gratitude for him. Thank you, Shane. I love you too, bro. Now next up, the lovely, the beautiful, Caitlin Smith.
Shane, you are a complete inspiration. And
Swing, baby, swing.
I'm swinging them balls right now, you just can't see it, Renee. That's meant in a really loving way. When you have poets, fellow poets, peers, kinfolk, members of the tribe here to support you, you must be good. And we're all here to support Shane because we're all poets and musicians, and I just think that's such a testimony to the wonderful man and creative that Shane is. These are sadly poems that range in font size, and so let's see what happens.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm really not so pleased with the font size of your book, Shane. I've said it before, I just have to say it again, it's just so disappointing for a woman to find it that small. Anyway, this is called Stones. I don't say what's needed, instead stay silent. Each silence, a stone sewn into clothes or swallowed, sinking to the bottom, amassing like rubble on my pelvic floor, heavy cloak worn upon waking every morning with leaden pockets, added to with each conflict unresolved, explanation or defence not given, my breath weighted by that which is unsaid, conspicuously unstated, pulls down sharply like depression, they pile up, gathering momentum if swung overhead like caber-tossed slingshots that could crack bones if their truth were ever spoken, but they are not. Solid, unbroken walls of silence, stones unthrown are built into great castles where moats keep us distant, but I'll not bury them, I'll build a container for a garden within my belly where songs, poems, spells and prayers are grown. There words become seeds of faith and hope. Germs fertilized and nurtured, this womb nursery held in place with the same silent stones as foundation, transformed, repurposed, every utterance, narrative, post-it note, conversation, converted, decomposed, composted into the next gloriously wise, insightful soil, rich nutrients, minerals, food for thought, psychosynthesized. Sometimes we need another strength to help lift out of the way that which weighs heavily upon us. Seemingly immovable objects, ultrasounded, could dissolve, break open, massage circles around the umbilicus, loose tension in sternum, abdomen, then, and only then, our huna, inner light, can finally shine up brightly through the transparent glass shafts that are each human soul, no longer obscured by black rock stacked up inside us. We create space within which waves resonate. Voices are seen and heard resounding, voices that stem and sprout from our deepest well, one made from placing each heavy stone silence atop the other like arms embracing to directly draw from life's pure light spirit elixir.
Wow.
And he's so generous, he said I could do 3. I was just going to do 1, but I've got a couple more. This one's called Your House. Your house, when you are gone, goes back to bed, tucks its walls carefully under its feet, sleeps in undisturbed and warm, has toothpicks lying on the carpet, coats of late July sun paint the kitchen and back garden, smells of cigarette butts, wants you back, potted plants and slug-bitten herbs wait for their daddy with upturned leaves, crave to suckle with amnesiac expectancy. Your bath towels and shirts sway on their lines to pass the time between showers. The northwestern motorway praises mass construction, meters from these creaking canvas chairs, whispers through clenched metal teeth, can't you see I'm busy? barred from catching up or jumping back on should we ever decide to. Surrey Crescent Samoan Church monolith stands sentinel over the valley's itching and painful progress. Stretch marked below its disinterested watch, dreams of palm and papaya, no shoes or shivering. In your house, where you're at work, my back is curved, sit side on to your weathered wooden table, can't face this beauty square on. Loving absent-mindedly, sick day left behindness, hose coiled in patient wait, drunk stolen road cones stacked for roll call pickup. The belly of your broken gas heater hides behind its metal casing like a frightened child. Your house, when you are gone, misses you, likes your order and early start routine, welcomes strangers, entertains them lovingly as if they were its own kin.
Wow.
Finally, something of the kind of size I like. Okay. This is called Afraid of Angels. A lot of people these days are afraid of angels, suspicious of their goodness, depth, and generosity. They're just divine. There is no catch. No real reason why. Fear, distrust of innocence, hatred of vulnerability would compel you to hack off one of her wings as a trophy, then mount and nail it to your wall. You want to punish, to hurt, bring her down. Look at your tally of conquests and deaths, past lovers' hearts and heads displayed as rejected treasures, an angelic human body wall. You are the mighty seraphim hunter, shooting down easy targets, triggered by their weakness, their softness, the feminine, the feathered, the unprotected, killing what you most despise in yourself. Slashing, burning, driving a stake through their most exposed intimacies. Cover it up, shame, tether, then control it, stash and hide her broken, naked body in your truck. Doing her a favour, really, because this world is hostile and only the strong survive, right? Fuck sensitive, fuck feelings, fuck tenderness, fuck love. I'll tell you what, baby. You have angels all wrong. There's no conspiracy to provoke, frustrate, or annoy you going on. She wasn't sanctimonious or holier than thou. She didn't want to humiliate your pride or bring you down. You've forgotten what you are. Underneath defense and armor, you can't die, be hurt, or corrupted, brother. You breathe fire. So start loving, because that's what we're hardwired to do. Take a look in the mirror and be reminded that you are an angel too.
Wow.
Congratulations, Shane.
Thank you. Big hand. You know, we have the ghost of Araceris.
This one. Well, I decided to be a PJ tonight, and I said to Mr. Shane Hollands that he should request some poems, and so he's requested these two poems. And I bought a selection of poems, but these are the ones that he chose, and neither of them were on the selection of poems. So I'm channeling. Where is Mr. Shane Hollands? Is he here?
He's in the loo.
No! Get that man out of the toilet, please.
You'll never do that.
He's trading.
So I'm relying on my memory to serve me. But this collab with Mr. McNabb would not have ever happened had it not been for Shane Hollands. Anyway, this is the Shane Hollands request poem number 1. And I think that I will remember most of it, but I'm going to have it here, even though I know that Shane hates phone reading. There it is. There it is. Shane hates phone reading. But nevertheless, it's security.
Security.
It's like backup, just in case. Early onset.
I'm always there for you, baby.
Actually, I've got a beer down the end of that table. You could pass it up.
There we go. Just in case.
Because it's a long poem. It's going to take up half of the 15, up to 15 minutes that you are.
I know, technically. I know, I'm a harsh taskmaster.
Anyway, over to John McNabb to ease us into this.
Oh yeah.
Narrative. I said to Shane, you like the narrative storytelling type poems. And he said, yes, he does. He does like the narrative storytelling type poems, which is what this is. Very much so. Well, it's pretty random, but just do whatever the fuck you want.
Diarrhea.
Just like it is the moment, you know, whatever happens, this is how it's supposed to be. Grooving high on Sugar Hill, me and my funny Valentine met the lost blue devils by a lazy river lined with honeysuckle rows that flowed slow with incandescent tone. He appeared, smoky limelight, rhapsody, and I stood mesmerized by his majesty, like as dizzy as Dorothy when chaos met Kansas. His orchestral ornithology just held me in a jazz trance jazz trance until a spell called Craziology commanded me to flash dance, and out of nowhere, a counter melody raised the rhythmic romance. With a flurry of notes blending in a single textured sound with thin and flat tones together, talking loud in a macro syncopation with intimate variation from the virtuoso, the mojo, the all-star maestro. He's the Duke of micro groove technology, hitting Quasimodo tempos and polytonality, and side slipping slim slam to the gypsy melody and tick-tocking metronomic rhythmic intensity, and I enter the epitome of Birdland publicity via the bandstand basement club bohemia with a rhythm section cures soul funk anemia. There's scenes of swing and the modern luck of mantra and a musical discussion with a popo percussion, and they got rhythm from the god child of the wicked and the wild. Improvise and live and rhyme time, tricky down beats both devious and divine. We photograph a mindset of stop time finger with swing with testament thoughtfully and figure, warming up a graph like an audible eruption, making aggressive near-pop the ultimate seduction. Emerging from the space between the horn and the bass, just like cymbals. Here to pick up the pace, and a peaking metamorphosis. The drum beat goes like this. Kiva and Venus de Milo walking the streets of Paris, swoons when the Superman sings the blues for Alice. The horn of plenty hits a high note, the snare drum rasps, the rumble, the tutti frutti wonderland beat ensemble. And the entertainer calls out cocktails for two to the cat at the bar with a serpent's tooth, and sure enough he's got the bongo beating bottom beatitude and the bird from the bird says he makes a bitch's brew. And he raptures with a rhapsody in blue, and all I can feel is this embraceable you. He holds me hypnotic. The drink in his melodic tonic, and we're beaming bionic like an almond stereophonic sound. Sonic stargazes with destiny abound in an Aquarian tropic with osmotic surround. And in symphonic spontaneity, we take off from reality and arrive at the crossroads, stretching for miles to where God only knows. Here Robert Johnson stood years ago signing contracts with leopards rise like As the polyrhythm dropping in the distance get faster, and he tells me like I could be the muse in the Bible's new chapter. So like the choice, like do I sell out or do I await the holy rapture? Like I say, no way, I'm holding on to my soul for that happy hereafter. And I wink in the suite of the jazz baroness with bombastic bebop in the hothouse of my hair. She leads me into the orchid room, and I feel like I'm in New York in June. She engages some vinyl so I can relax to the emotionally ambiguous contours of the tracks. Subtly serenaded by a Bird of Paradise song, Cherokee merry-go-round ride, mellow and long. The lullaby and rhythm, giving chromatic moods. How deep is the ocean caressed in cool blues? How high is the moon? Round about midnight. It sounds sort of kind of like something that I dreamed last night. Of a count, and a duke, and a monk, with the styles and the song of a bird that could be heard for miles. And a proposition given in that star-making smile from that old jazz devil and his jiving desire.
Wow. Gee. That's amazing.
There goes! The monks!
A nation waits, mystified, hardly knowing who is who. And symbols play with defenseless abandon. The crowd still cheers. With the promise of bliss or damnation.
Your nation?
Nothing more.
Oh, say, can't you see?
Limelight leads you deftly from your solitude, and the ghost of so many years. Each night, laying behind in the mask. Ladies and gentlemen, humanities, I hit freedom with your spirit and word. When just left each moment with its news and through his spouse. No, that's not it. Let the horses dream in celebration and honor your fine escape from the disaster that lies beyond freedom. True spouse, take your turn, leave your thoughts of queen and priest in pursuit. What strange new worlds will warm and calm you? Who will guide your conquering quest? Yes, I remember your missing night companion, face of cloud and thigh of blue, and he came as a figure of a monkey singing songs the world forgot each morning. genius, the fallen curtain, echo through his famous reply. The world wants you to play his game before it's too late. So how can you bow out in silence when your fantasies bid you welcome and recite a plan that you always knew? When tangled the carpet follows vertically across the street, how can you Here, on the threshold of midnight, heaven holds no horror. And yet your chains distill the sadness of the world. Each paper mache merry-go-round, each iron gold brings another winter labyrinth. Fire, which till now has been silent. Say it. Insane spectre of a mother's fear, your foreign tongue locked in a violin. Take your heart back to the travelling fair. We've read of the fable that never grew, and I heard as I never heard.
The beat, the beat, the beat, the beat.
Unspoken secret, imminent before the light. Stolen drums. Unaccompanied angels, dreaming of a maze of mirrors. This hour shall see your darkest fear never fully explained. The bridge is crossed, and yet I risk my life to dry your tears and appeal your song to wake this moment.
Wow! That was absolutely amazing. Woo!
Yes!
The ghost of what?
Hold that train. I'm about to go touring this weekend with this most wonderful person who has written an amazing book in her own right, and I'd like to get her up here to do some stuff. I'd like to introduce to you all the one, the only, Simone Kahu. Give her a lucky punch.
I really don't want to be standing in between you and Lucky. Freaking me. So, you know, just love me anyway.
Yes, we will.
Right, got that out of the way. So, I want to say congratulations, Shane. Your book is beautiful. I remember really clearly the first time I saw Shane. It was 2007, and I just walked into the classic and he was doing a love poem, and he repeated the last 3 lines, it is love, it is love, it is love, and I was too shy to introduce myself. I didn't feel qualified because I didn't know anything about poetry, but I mean, writing it, performing it, and he was clearly, you know, what you get to become after you spend some serious time and heart working closely with poetry. And so he was definitely somebody that made me see where I could go with it. So that he's letting me come up here tonight and show you my book, that we're taking our books out to New Zealand together, is still kind of somewhat amazing to me. And I'm really, really fucking happy.
Yeah, really.
So I'm going to read to you from Lucky Punch, some poems from Lucky Punch, and I have asked the bombastic Fats White up with me, because I'm totally jealous of Freaky Meat. You guys fucking sounded great. It's so hot. Wow. This is the very first poem. It's called Marry. Henry proposed to me when we were 4, on the double swing that looked like a horse. I must have said yes, because I remember telling our mothers who for some reason didn't laugh and coo at us. And the next year we went to different schools, stopped seeing each other in play centre, and never talked about it again. As far as I know, he hasn't proposed to anyone else yet. Kids, we spill into the garden to play, little witches spit roasting camellias on twigs, abducting green caterpillars from the eucalyptus up the road and feeding them dead leaves, making potions of spit and mud and piss and turning trees into lovers' hideouts, claiming the basement as a crypt and arranging marriages for the chicken and the duck, and jumping between the iron bars of the trampoline and hurling sticks at the kids across the road and considering bricks, and laughing at our neighbour sunbathing naked, discussing the hair between her legs, and laughing outright at the boy from next door's Willie, long, white, and rude in the wilderness.
Wow.
This next poem isn't from Lucky Punch, but I'm going to do it for old time's sake. I'm going to dedicate this one to Shane, because the very first time I joined the literati, I did this poem to Shane, and he sat across from me, and he yelled at me, and he was like, "Come on!" yeah, so, Fats, you can cut loose on this one. Just
cut loose.
So this poem is called Huff. There's something that hides when you turn to your side, in some private place, like the shadow of your face. Yeah, there's a part of us all, and we keep it in the shade. Because in our hearts, we're all half-castes, savagely made. Yeah, I'm halfway in and I'm halfway out. I'm halfway to hell, within, without. Half white, half Polynesian. Is it right? It's half a reason, half measures and half a man, chasing pleasure with half a plan, half an idea unclear and half a clue. And it looks like you. Yeah, I'm half-caste. I'm half-caste. From a Tongan immigrant and a Kiwi colonial pakeha, yeah. One's just white. Halfway to heaven in a halfway house, half my stuff in the rain, half soaked, and someone saying she's insane, a misfit in a crazy dress, and I must confess I'm missing half my better half. I'm half-assed, half-hearted, and it's half price for my soul. So undo half my buttons, baby, live your life like me. Half involved and half absorbed and sadly incomplete. in this half-light, half past the hour, with half our faces turning sour. A toast to us, to our health, half out loud and half to ourselves. Oh, you guys are good.
We like you.
Good.
No, you are. I'm going to stay here all night.
Yes.
So you... Did I just get an invitation? Somebody get his number. So a lot of the poems in my book are... sorry, I don't like your poem, but I haven't. Are about a character called... a guy called Henry. And Henry's... He's awesome. He's a little bit, how can I put it, different. This is a poem about Henry's sister. The first person Henry wanted to kill was his sister. She was handy with her fists. Henry wouldn't hit her back because he's got ideas on what a man shouldn't do. So he spent most of his adolescent years as her punching bag. His parents' conflict management skills went as far as buying him men are from Mars and women are from Venus. But Henry still doesn't hit women. He's gotten into loads of scraps protecting them though, from sleazy drunks in the town, even women he doesn't know. Everyone loves him for a while, it's all buttered yellow sweets. And we take trips just to the dairy, just for fun, to watch him lag behind. He's walking tongue in time, he can't walk any faster, otherwise he's running. This is just how a walk is, it's like this. And he'll learn, we say, and he makes a ooh and warn you without a warrant, but it's okay, he'll learn. And then he brings home a stray dog who eats shit and strains on the lead. And then even the Parleys say, that dog's no good, man. It's better if that dog went away, you know, like, went away. And then he comes home from his English course and he's got 100%, you know, he's doing really well, he's got great marks, but it's not his handwriting. And then he comes home with hammer marks on his throat. And worse still, he's unhappy working for under somebody else's name, and somebody else gets his money. And then he starts to look at Kalani schoolgirls the wrong way and talk behind his hands about things he's done with them. His hosts see him laugh, and he has spat out on the cold moon and the final look away.
Wow.
So I haven't had a drink since August 2015.
Whoa! Good on you, girl. Well done.
It's quite a big deal for me. It's a big deal for me.
Good on you.
This poem I wrote when I was in the middle of drinking. You gotta nurture your inner child.
You do.
Speak to her gently. Take her on playdates. My inner child, souped up on powder, she doesn't know what. Stroking a kitten in some bartender's flat on an old mattress he dragged out sniffing. Asking, why is it so cold? Where's the bathroom? My inner child, guzzling, her mouth wrapped around the glass, lips so tight. My inner child wants Sad Blanc, 2 bottles, not one on a school night. And she'll beg for it, bargain, twist rubber arms and plead. She wants Bloody Mary, strong and hot. She wants a shot. Jose Cuervo, vodka peach snaps, swallowed. My inner child, wet like an accident.
Band-aids and condoms in the treehouse. Say, my inner child wondering why he doesn't text. Because my inner child wants to do it again, but it's already Sunday. My inner child tantrums feels like hair growing on the inside of my head. Feels like teeth lost in a milkshake. Feels like a split tooth crumbling. My inner child plays horsey with my niece, trips and scrapes my elbow off. My inner child mounts the neighbor's letterbox, falls off backwards and picket fence posts to break my ribs. My inner child strip-teases, lays back on a wine glass so it pops, and it leaves punctures that bubble like septic insect bites, and my inner child wants to do it again. My inner child wants to do it again, and again, and again.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Shane, I can't wait to swap these with you, and wish us luck for the next 3 days. If you would like a copy of this, come and see me. I'm over there. Thank you again.
Well done. God. Talent, eh?
Pretty soon now, my band's going to get up and they're going to do some stuff. I had this idea that I might read a couple of things from the book.
Yes!
Okay. It's alright, I'll be very quick. Okay, this is a piece that's going to be turned into an EP. It's called Apocalyptic Radio. Cults of personality are everywhere. We are surrounded by them. Hold on. Someone turned the lights off.
That's a good point.
Motherfuckers, why do they do that when you're on stage, eh?
Yeah, why do they?
People always thank us. Oh, thank you so much. So much so we fail to notice. It's a failure of demarcation. Too many shades of grey for perceptual contrast. What goes in and what comes out. Now, some people worship at the temple of the body. Everything is counted, every calorie, every ounce of carbs, every minute at the gym. What goes in? Till a quarter weight of excrement per capita becomes the weight of the soul. What goes in? What comes out? Small gods gather like ants at the mound of civilization. The smell of belief it tangs, sweeter on the tongue of a small god than all the golden Zurich. The great god Google and his evil sidekick Wiki are trolling your loved ones. Never in the history of religion has a god been so responsive. Ask him anything. Small gods have small memories, remembering the big ones, Om and Yahweh and Beelzebub, all hanging out in the small god's reception lounge, sucking back the free margaritas and canopy. Small gods like alcohol and incense. Burn it, baby, burn it, burn it. Believe in me, believe in yourself. The small god of self-help publishing would like you to do just this and send more money. It owes Quitzy Coddle for the last late night drunken rant on where's all the believers, where's all the sacrifice, where's the blood? Quitzy paid the bar tab. Small gods can drink like mercenaries on shore leave. What's the point in all this existing if you can't wallow in some samsara every now and then? Small gods in the wasteland of religion Small gods will crawl over hot coals for one true believer. Remember, one true believer is worth 50,000 prayers in the citadel of faith. Vini, vidi, vici. I came, I saw, I converted. Small gods need sustenance, like a junkie needs junk. Small gods have small memories. It's a numbers game. From the halls of Valhalla to the streets of Dubai. From here to eternity. Small gods get nervous. Small gods have needs.
Wow.
And the only thing I regret about the book is that I didn't have a separate chapter in it for the Beautiful Losers. And this is definitely a Beautiful Losers poem. It's called Beethoven's Filth.
Yes.
Beethoven is on his filth, his antennas and clear as he scans a room with indifference and looks this way and right. Try as he chooses, he can't help but be such a beautiful loser. And Beethoven's got coffee on his mind, and not the kind that drips or is dry, the kind that requires pressure and steam. And he drops 2 plots of poison in it, 'cause he likes it that way! Do you want to make something of it? And it's coffee, for Christ's sake. The coffee remains, and stumbling up to get some, he bumps into Marlon, who is just fucking beautiful. Hey, want to come and get some Java with us? I'll show you something on the way. And I'm still waiting on Beethoven. And it seems like forever, man. But it won't be till yesterday comes around. A final turn on the ode to joy. When you're dressed up like Napoleon. Last call for the drunk tank. Last carriage on the train. Last station down the line. Where we all waited in vain for Napoleon. So, if your love is like a dead river, and all the fishes living in it look like deep sea monsters on a butcher's table, we'll steal a boat and row out to the pylons and jump into the waters into where bone-soaked babies. I'm still waiting on Beethoven. It seems like forever, but it won't be till yesterday comes around.
Oh,
Okay, so I had this other one that I'd just like to do it. And I think this is indicative of me. It goes, I wrote this when I got all my teeth pulled out. He goes, it's called What We See in It. My love has a hole in it today. It is one of my broken teeth. Somewhere, the center of my love got brittle with decay and ate itself out. There is an angry mob where my love once lived. The barns and the farms have all been burnt. Don't look at it. You will only burn your eyes too. The kindest of strangers says. You would imagine that my years would have shown me some small measure of insight. My love is playing with its food again, spitting peas at the ceiling. My love does not want to eat, its teeth are broken. My love is unruly and wants down from this fucking high chair. My love knows love like the backside of its hand. It has felt the sting and the sharp edge of its knife. Someone has been making haggis of my love. there is little left of its innards. My love has no time for lovers and a fucking park. It will not walk its dog or skip stones on the mangroves. Do not whisper sweet nothings or drunk dial my love. It is not taking your calls. My love will no longer walk miles just to find that one that smiled as it rode past on the bus. Don't ask my love commitments. It wants to be committed. My love would love to dissect and dismember me. It is angry at my squandering, my listlessness and inattention. Disappointment seeps from my love's sleeping mouth to dampen my pillows with regret. My love has watched the funerals of many friends, of lovers, and so it has no time left for you. Tomorrow my love will awaken. It will throw all my clothes into a pile, and then my love will burn them, and then my love will smile.
Wow.
Enough of that depressing shit, right? I had this other one that I wanted to read, which was kind of important to me tonight.
It's your night.
Like my night. And I'm just going to take a little... luckily, the thing about the book is it has this thing called an index. And if I can only remember the name of the poem, it will be in there. Oh, it's called... And now a message from our sponsor. Hold on, it must be on the next page. Oh God, there's so many poems in this goddamn book. Okay. Damn it.
How many poems are
our common genesis that we are certainly dragged screaming into? As wanting as yesterday's sunshine, as critical as your heart's next bebop and beat, as supreme as any lick on Miles Davis's horn, without which we crumble, become particles and dust. You know, you're going to take it with you. In every broken wail, in every glorious ecstatic embrace, pinnacle and horror. You're sharing it with every living thing in the now of now, this crunch of existence. It's not a form of sentience. It's some semblance of grace or property. It does not depend on wealth or poverty. As truly as you are. Beautiful, specific, horrific in its conceit, and you could trade it in an instant for an idea, just a belief, and in its morning a rapture, and its evening a thief is worth all tribulations, all trials and misery, the woe that becomes and engulfs us, the only goddamn thing you ever really own. I'm not talking about your home, your love, your family, your pets, or people, good intentions or creations, that which makes anything possible, whilst in your possession, whose loss can never be rewrapped or regifted like last year's Christmas embarrassments, which leaves you cold.